Greetings and welcome to another episode, How I See It. Let's talk about While America Slept. I want to share a quote with you. We will take America without firing a shot. We do not have to invade the United States. We will destroy her from within. These words have long been attributed to Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev during the Cold War. Now, whether they were spoken exactly as quoted or not, they capture a strategy that America's enemies have often embraced, not always defeating us from the outside, but weakening us from within. At first glance, such a statement sounds almost laughable. How could anyone hope to bring down the strongest nation on earth without firing a shot? But history teaches us that America's enemies have been willing to play the long game. And perhaps the greatest danger is not an attack we see coming, it's one we ignore while we're lulled to sleep. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. In recent years, we have seen growing support for democratic socialism among portions of the American electorate. Polls indicate that many Democrat voters now view socialism favorably or would support candidates who identify as democratic socialist. Prominent political figures such as Bernie Sanders, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, and Rashida Tlaib have openly embraced Democrat socialist policies. And socialist organizations have expanded significantly within the United States. While America slept, we were being attacked. Ideas once considered politically impossible are becoming mainstream. 50% of Americans believe abortion is morally acceptable. 40% of young Americans believe sex with someone you barely know is okay. 40% of Americans also believe in open sexual relationships within their marriage. Our enemies understand something many Americans have forgotten. Nations are not or rarely conquered overnight. They are weakened one compromise at a time, one generation at a time, one value at a time. History also reminds us that America has faced deadly threats from violent Islamic extremists. The attacks of September 11th, the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, the bombing of the Marine barracks in Beirut, Lebanon, the Boston Marathon bombing, and other terrorist attacks on our nation's soil have demonstrated the devastating consequences of radical ideologies. This is not a condemnation of Muslims as a whole. They enjoy the same constitutional freedoms that every American enjoys. It's a recognition that violent extremism is a real threat. While America slept, our enemies kept recruiting, kept plotting, and kept waiting. Border security remains a serious national issue. Government reports have documented increasing number of individuals who are on the terrorist watch list attempting to enter this country illegally. And intelligence officials have repeatedly warned about espionage efforts by the likes of China and Russia. While America slept, those who wish America harm search for new ways to infiltrate and weaken our nation. But perhaps the greatest battle isn't taking place at our borders. It's taking place in our homes and our schools and on our phones. Studies continue to show that social media increasingly shapes the beliefs and values of young people. At the same time, Americans have become more accepting of behaviors that previous generations overwhelmingly rejected. Poll after poll after poll reveals a nation whose moral compass is shifting. Thomas Sowell said it this way: the barbarians are not at the gates, they are in the gates. And they have economic or academic tenure, judicial appointments, government grants, control of movies, television, and other sources of media. While America slept, truth became relative. Conviction gave way to convenience. Character was replaced by popularity. Respect for one another, just as human beings, has evaporated. Personal responsibility yielded to personal preference. We must remember the erosion of a nation rarely begins with its military. It begins with its morality. Yet there is hope. Across America, they are encouraging signs of a renewed spiritual interest, particularly among younger generations. Some churches are seeing increased attendance after years of stagnation or decline. Many young people are searching for meaning, for purpose, and for truth. Revival is possible in America, but revival has never come to people who refused to wake up. America must stop being consumed with entertainment that we ignore the condition of our nation. Parents must once again become the primary teachers of their children instead of surrendering that responsibility to far left ideologies and the responsibility of training their kids to iPads, screens, and tablets. Families must reclaim the dinner table. Churches must not be afraid to boldly proclaim the truth. Citizens must educate themselves, vote, and hold elected officials accountable for their actions. Communities must support the rule of law and those who faithfully enforce it. Good people must stop surrendering the public square to a vocal minority of people determined to reshape America. Freedom is never inherited automatically. Every generation must defend it and preserve it. Every generation must pass it on. And if America stays asleep, if we continue sleeping while the moral, cultural, and civic foundations of this nation erode, our children and grandchildren will inherit an America far different from the one that was entrusted to us. The time for indifference is past. The time for excuses has ended. America, wake up. Because history has shown that nations are not only destroyed by the enemies at their gates, they're destroyed by the complacency within their own walls. Take action before it's too late. At least, that's how I see it.